You know, it was Andy Warhol who said, they always say time changes things, when actually you have to change them yourself. And that's why I'm in Wakefield City Centre at the moment, to talk about that very notion, change. The riding centre behind me, once a sought after retail location, marvelled across the country, is going to be demolished. And in its place, a new neighbourhood, 1,000 homes, leisure, culture facilities and independent food and drink. The transformation of Wakefield City Centre, the regeneration of the city centre, perhaps one of the most interesting and nuanced development projects that we'll see over the next 15 years within the United Kingdom. So I thought I'd give my thoughts in the context of the local elections that are happening at the moment. UK Reef is round the corner, and as the development programme enters quite a critical stage, as we start to see pre-app discussions, pre-applications and a planning application hopefully coming forward soon, I'm here to give my views over a short film on some of the challenges and opportunities of this massive transformational regeneration project. But first, let's challenge the perception, because Wakefield is not just another post-industrial town or city, and yes, it's had its problems like most places following the last 2 decades of decline as a consequence of the collapse of retail in our town centres and subsequent problems that has enabled. But if you've never been, here's what people get wrong. The arts and culture scene, very strong, more vibrant than most cities across Europe. The countryside, minutes away. Connectivity, incredible. Just 10 minutes into Leeds and in London within 2 hours. And the city centre, especially independent food and drink, quietly one of the best in the region for a town or city of its size. Economically as well, it's performing too. Growth well above the national average. And yes, it benefits from being close to Leeds, but that borrowed prosperity is exactly what makes places like this work. So this isn't about fixing a broken city, it's about unlocking one that's already working. Number 1, viability. Residential development will bring that critical mass within the city centre and will really drive this proposal forward. And it's going to be a mix of affordable housing with build to rent or BTR. But here's the issue. BTR within the UK is starting to look very, very, very samey. The same layouts in every project, the same mix, the same unit types, the same facade design. Very little room for innovation at the moment due to the restrictions and the parameters that BTR is working on. And in a place like Wakefield, where viability is going to be a massive challenge, it begs to differ the quality of the proposals that are going to come forward, because they're driven by institutional capital. And that's not a bad thing at all, but at the moment, institutional capital is chasing the same return, the same yield, the same stabilisation period. It's going to be very, very difficult to really unlock BTR as a tool for driving this scheme forward. Because if the market isn't there for BTR within the city centre, it just won't land. At the moment, it's predicated on 1 and 2 bed units, being a really stripped back product with identical return requirements for all institutional capital. There's a real kind of lack of innovation in terms of structuring deals and rethinking BTR in order to create those kind of better quality outcomes, more private amenity space, more diversity in terms of kind of tenure mix, etc. So one interesting point could be to maybe reduce the amount of reliance on BTR to kind of underpin the project as a regeneration outcome, and perhaps look to diversify tenure mixes within the proposal. One example being later living. Wakefield has a massively aging demographic. It has people with a large amount of disposable income over 65. I think later living could be a fantastic proposition for the proposal in terms of it being really viable, but also create an option for the proposal that could be deployed in an accelerated context, bring it forward, and there'd be a massive market for this typology within the city centre. You have so many amenities on your doorstep that would cater to that context and to that market. The other aspect as well is maybe looking at more family homes or family apartments, whether that's a part buy, part rent model, shared ownership model, I think could really civilise the proposal as well and diversify the type of people and demographic who will live in the city centre. I think bringing more families into the city centre is fundamentally a really good thing. Number 2, delivery. This is a massively complicated site, there's no two ways about it. A number of the parcels of land that sit within the proposal boundary actually sit outside council ownership. Acquiring these could involve extensive negotiations and discussions around compulsory purchase orders, which could in turn correlate costs and massively impact programme over the long run. Furthermore, there's a number of physical challenges with the site that the developer and the council will need to consider. There's a huge change in level across the site, and they also need to take into consideration utilities underground, which could cause a number of complications around delivery. And at the time of publishing this video, Reform UK have more than likely taken full control over Wakefield District Council. Now, what's been really disappointing, and politics aside with this, in the run-up to the local elections is the lack of development insight shown by a number of the Reform UK candidates. Equally as well, I've been really disappointed with their endeavours to scupper the process, add bureaucracy to the process, which very much contradicts Reform UK's national policy with regards to development and investment into towns and cities, which is very much about being supportive of development, accelerating development and reducing red tape. Now, what I'd like to see a commitment from Reform, as and when they get in, is something more aligned to their national policy, and there's very much kind of precedent for this, and there should be no reason why this can't happen. Wolves, for example, approved a major development application into their city within 30 days of submission. I'd like to see a commitment from Reform to do the same. This would align with their national policy and very much send a huge boost of confidence to other developers and other investors interested in deploying capital into Wakefield. At number 3, funding. Yes, there's already been lots of support, but something of this scale will need long-term sustainable grant support to make it successful. And one of the biggest predicaments is that West Yorkshire doesn't enjoy the same grant funding access that the North West and the West Midlands enjoy, for example. This is where patient capital really matters. Because if they get this right, it changes everything. A residential-led city centre, a residential-led Wakefield city centre means life. It means footfall. It means a thriving economy. It means viability for all the things that Wakefield does really, really well today. Independent businesses, bars, food, and of course, culture. And instead of importing a copy and paste generic regeneration solution that we see so much of across the UK at the moment, this could actually become a part of Wakefield city centre that people actually want to come to and stay, rather than just a means for passing through. And this isn't just about Wakefield. If this is successful, it could create a blueprint for secondary towns and cities across the UK in a post-retail world. Movement, and more importantly, permeability into the city, will define Wakefield's future success. As a new cultural, leisure and civic destinations emerge, the city centre has the opportunity to become a stronger destination in its own right. But to achieve that, the city must become easier and far more pleasant to move through from its perimeter ring road by foot and by cycle. Wakefield already has a high level of city centre parking provision, particularly for a city of its scale. With the momentum of the Cathedral Quarter and renewed civic ambition, there's a real opportunity to rethink the balance between cars and people. And with the political will to accelerate delivery, some of these car parks could attract investment for more appropriate uses long term. But right now, key parts of the ring road feel hostile and intimidating for pedestrians and cyclists. Major junctions act as barriers rather than gateways, prioritising traffic movement over walkability, comfort and public life. If Wakefield wants to project the image of a modern, connected and people-focused city, then improving permeability must be central to that vision, such as using Dutch roundabouts and also transforming leftover infrastructure into welcoming streets and spaces that reflect the city's ambition. But at the end of the day, this isn't just about demolishing a shopping centre, it's about reshaping how a city works. And if Wakefield gets this right, it won't just be punching above its weight, it'll be setting the standard.